Welcome back to a new Devlog video. In this week we went from a rather boring looking scene to this new and improved game. Today I'm gonna talk about the term game juice and two new enemies I've made along with some other small bits. And a mistake I made with our little frog. If you like my videos, be sure to subscribe and share this video. The first enemy added to the game was this green frog, and the problem is that he's green. Last devlog video I got a message from a friend whose nickname is Frog. I made a logo for him a few weeks ago, and we thought after that there can't just be a green frog remaining in the game. So I made him orange, and I think it's a big improvement since he's far more noticeable now and also looks a bit more dangerous. Okay, so now that's out of the way, let's move on. Last video I added some game music and I'll be totally honest, it sounds terrible. I threw it together in just a few minutes to have some form of sound in the game, but I didn't really mess around with it a lot. So that's why I made a new soundtrack, this time with the Linux Multimedia Studio, and let's have a look at it. I still don't think it's perfect, but it's definitely better than the old soundtrack. Well, now we've demolished half of the progress made in the last week, let's look at some new stuff. I've added more sprites and made a new test scene to try out all the new objects and enemies. The pixel art tree made in the last video has also been added to the scene, but I'm not sure if it fits in that well, because in the background there are spruce trees and our tree looks more like a jungle tree. I also made a rock object and a few enemies. I took a lot of inspiration from the game Ori and the Blind Forest. Especially the runic stone enemy I made is pretty much a straight copy from these fire laser enemies. The spider is now a stationary enemy which can't move, but shoots at you from a distance. I plan on having them sit on some kind of spider net at some point in the future. The next thing that I wanted to do was to make the game actually fun to play. There are many different ways to achieve this, either by telling a thrilling story or giving the players some goal to work towards. Since this is a platformer game with practically no story, and since there are no existing goals the player wants to achieve other than beating the levels, we'll have to work with something called game juice. Take for example our first enemy. Without any effects, sounds and feedback in form of screen shake or other stuff like controller shake, it feels pretty boring to fight the frog. There's no point for anyone to care about the enemy even being there because he's boring. But if you add the right amount of juice to the game, suddenly the player wants to attack and kill the enemy because it's fun to do. Now, I'm not an expert on making games feel good, but I'll try anyway. So just by adding some sound, particles, flashing animations and knockback, the attacks of the player suddenly feel far more impactful. Two other effects I could add are either some kind of screen shake or blood splashes, which appear every time the player hits or kills a creature. Maybe I'll add that next week. So that's all I had time for this week. I hope you all enjoyed, subscribe if you like my videos, and thanks for watching.